Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast, the voice of bodybuilding. I'm your host, Sarah Parker, and today we are in collaboration with the one, the only Paul Oneid from Coach's Corner University. Hello, my friend.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Super cool that we can, of course, do this because, as you know, I've been doing the monthly webinars, and
Mhm.
I feel like this topic in itself, now, bit of context for anyone that doesn't know mine and Paul's relationship. We actually stumbled across each other on good old Instagram, and we align so much on the coaching ethos, as it were. And between us, I feel like our coaching programs are going to be very similar in regards to what we try and build from a coach and client relationship standpoint. And something I want to sort of start the call with is this is something that Paul and I have spoken about. We've shared stories, etc. With when you work with a coach. Now, of course, that can be for a set period of time. That could span across years. And me and Paul have got coaching clients that have spanned across years. And
Mhm.
something we often reference is retention, but also if a client leaves a coaching program for a reason, finances or whatever it is, if that client then still sees you as their coach and they're going to come back to you, that in itself, Paul and I, and you're nodding your head, Paul, agree that you've done your job. You're the coach for life, even if you're not for a period of time. It's still that relationship that's built on trust, honesty, and you're delivering the service that is paid for. And I think sometimes, we do have to remember that as coaches, we're being paid for a service and we want to align with the client as an individual. There's going to be different coaching programs in the space, for sure there is, but Paul and I are very much working with individuals, and that's super, super important to find your lane, really, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just kind of nodding my head because, there's a lot of things that people say that don't align with what they do. And one of the things that I try to communicate to the coaches that I work with in a mentorship capacity and to our clients when they start working with us is we are a coaching business. And there's a big difference between being someone who coaches people and being someone who runs a coaching business. Okay. So okay. Great delineation. Great example. You have somebody who makes amazing coffee and loves having people to their house to make them coffee. Then you have Starbucks. One is a business, one is somebody who does a great job at what they do. Okay. The ultimate scenario as a coach is you want to have a business that operates like Starbucks, but feels like you're walking into somebody's house for a fresh brewed cup of coffee.
Love that.
Okay. I know that I'm going to get the same cup of coffee, whether I'm in the UK, if we're going to Croatia in 2 days. If I find a Starbucks, it's going to be the same cup of coffee in Croatia as it is here in Charlotte. But the feel of that homey, close-knit, comfortable feel is what you want to create. And one of the things that I think makes that feeling true, Sarah, I'll kind of pick your brain a little bit here, because I don't want to get too X's and O's, but I do want to highlight some blind spots for people in that. So, what are like the top two feelings that you want someone to feel as soon as they click purchase on your coaching?
So for me, actually, I thought about this before the call. When I think about when I formulated my own coaching program and what I want to offer, something that I deliver from the word go is that I want to continue excelling as a coach and bring my clients up with me. So what I know, my view is when someone comes on my coaching program, I'm educating and teaching them what I know. When they start to level up to knowing all of that information, and you can see how already this spans across years, that I'm leveling up still. So we're growing together as a team. So I'm gifting everything that I know in the capacity for that client because that's what I from the literally from the start of my bodybuilding journey with my coach. He said that to me literally straight away. He was like, "I my job is to continue bringing you up with me." And that's a never ending, I was with my coach for 8 years, nearly 8 years, and I was learning the whole time. So that's For me, that's super, super important. I also want to always be a human for my clients. Yes, I am the coach, and that requires respect, honesty, all of the things that we try and empower. However, we're two humans, and that service being provided is by someone that can, and this needs to be person dependent. I can share anecdotes so that we're relating, we're bonding essentially, and I'm able to guide and steer the ship with that resonation there as well. So those two things are super, super important to me.
Okay. So education and then relation, like to build a close-knit relationship. So you want to feel like that client is learning and you want to feel like that client feels connected to you. Now, what you just detailed was like months and years of work. I'm talking about the minute they click purchase. Just that, what are you doing?
I want that respect. I want them to feel safe
How do you get it?
on that initial purchase.
Yep, the moment that button gets clicked.
I would assume that they've researched me and they've come to me for a reason. So
Don't assume.
yeah.
What do you do? What like so and this is again, I'm saying it to highlight that you are somebody who does a phenomenal job at coaching people. But the delineation between a business and someone who coaches is systems. And we as coaches, if we want to scale and we want to serve more people and we want to do so at a higher level, we need to turn those, that feeling that the client gets where they're just like, man, I really made that good decision. But you as the coach have no idea how they got to that point.
Hmm.
You need to turn those into systems. You need to systematize the connection. You need to systematize the progress. And so, as an example, as soon as someone clicks purchase on our payment link, instead of it taking them to this generic Stripe page where it says, "Thank you for purchasing, bye," they're sent to a landing page of the coach that they purchased coaching with on a video thanking them for purchasing and explaining what's going to come next.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Hey,
More
thank you for purchasing. Make sure to check your email so that you have the automated or so that you have the link to download our app. You'll also be getting these contracts that I need you to sign. I'm going to be sending the intake form. So right away, they get to hear the coach's voice, they get to see the coach's face. They know exactly what's coming and how to navigate it.
hmm
So all of a sudden, they feel connected, they feel taken care of, they feel like it's organized, they feel like it's professional. And so from the moment that client clicks purchase, you need to ramp up how you're connecting with them. The next step is the personalization. So when the client clicks purchase, the coach gets a notification. When the coach gets the notification, they open the app and they record a personal video for that client.
hmm
Hey Sally, thank you so much for purchasing coaching. Really excited to get started. You'll see here on day one, there's a video for you. Please make sure that you watch that. You'll also, as I mentioned in the thank you video, there'll be contracts for you to sign. Check your emails. It might go to your spam, blah, 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 blah. So they get an automated video, then they get a personal video, then on that same day, they also get a video from Olivia and I welcoming them to Master Athletic Performance, our business. So all of these things are automated with the exception of that one video where the coach uses their first name.
Yeah.
And so this is how you build a system around connection. And I'm not saying that ours is the gold standard, although it works really, really well. Um, like I don't know how X's and O's you want to get with this conversation when it comes to business, but you get in a situation where even before you've actually spoken to the client and given them their plan, which we know can take, you get the payment, you send the intake forms, you put the program together. It could take 3, 4 days.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I like to say less than 5 days is like the gold standard.
hmm
If someone's paid you and they don't talk to you or hear from you with the exception of an email for 5 days, number one, they're feeling a lot of buyer's remorse. They're not feeling connected to you. Yeah, they might pepper you with questions here and there, which takes up your time. And ultimately, if we're trying to scale, we're trying to reduce time. And for all intents and purposes, they don't know what they paid for.
Hmm. Hmm.
So why not put a system in place where they can hear your voice and see your face every single day until the moment they actually hop on a call with you? And during that time, you're providing value, you're explaining to them, the ethos of your business, you're giving them education, what our best clients do, how to get the most out of coaching. This is how you navigate your check-in form. This is how you track in your app. This is how I want you recording training. These are some terms that you need to be familiar with. All of these things can be automated videos because these are conversations that you should be having with all of your clients. So the first step that I do with a lot of my mentees is like, hey, let's audit all the conversations you have with every single client and let's make a video about each one. And then let's pepper those videos in through that first 5 days or 7 days or 10 days or 14 days. So that even after they start their program or their coaching, they're still learning from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It saves you time and the client feels more connected, and ultimately it's a more professional service. Since we started this onboarding strategy, we've gotten more referrals from people before they even start coaching than ever before.
Mm.
So before they even start their coaching with the coach, they're already referring friends,
Nice. Yeah.
which is ultimately the goal. Is how can we create more referrals? Because if I had 10 clients right now and I got each one of them to refer me one person, I just doubled my income and spent $0.
Yeah. I feel like actually you've just outlined something that I certainly learned early on, that when clients were coming to me from a previous coach or coaches, because sometimes people have had multiple coaches,
Yeah.
something that I do pride myself on is exactly what you've just outlined there, as to, whoa, this is coaching. And I'm gonna play it straight. I get that from pretty much everyone I sign up. And that's again something that I take with pride because of the level of detail, what you've just said there, welcome videos, being able to essentially inform them of the process of what you're trying to do from the coaching relationship from the word go. And like you say, when you purchase something, it's like, what you've purchased, then it builds the excitement, it builds the journey. As I described at the start, what you said, is over years. I feel like that's almost facilitated in that first period of
Hmm.
time, because that's what I try to do. I always say on a consult, I'm like, if this journey for us as a coaching team can span across years, and clients can stay with me across years, it's the creme de la creme as a coach, isn't it?
But the only way that they're going to stay with you for years is if you start that relationship off with a fucking firework,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Like, let's blow them out of the water, especially when you start charging, when you start charging premium rates, you want to make sure that you've delivered on those premium rates right off the bat. So, when I say, hey, it's going to be $525 a month for coaching US. Okay, cool. They're gonna feel like they're stealing my time based on how often they see my face and hear my voice within those first 4 days.
Mhm.
They're getting forms, they're getting videos, they're getting education, they're getting resources. And this is all even before we've hopped on the first call to run through their program. And then obviously the program is of super high quality,
Yeah.
right? So then it further bumps it up. So you're what you're doing with proper onboarding is you're quelling all of the negative emotions that come along, the nerves, the hesitation, the buyer's remorse, and then you're amplifying the motivation and the excitement that they're probably feeling about starting a new chapter in their journey.
Mm.
And understanding that, hey, I have somebody who's future focused, who wants to stay with me for years, who wants to build with me. And at the end of the day, some of the clients that you sign are signing with the intention of, I'm going to work with this person for 6 months.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like somebody might sign up and just be like, hey, I want to finish my off season and start and do a prep with them. Or I have this specific goal that I'm trying to achieve, or this specific weight loss, or this specific body composition. But if you do onboarding properly, they're going to see how coaching could potentially impact the rest of their lives. And they're going to want to keep coaching in their life as an adjunct, because ultimately in a lot of cases, as a coach, you are the one person who is there for that person at all times. There's something that I've come to realize. Like a lot of the people that come to me as their coach don't have anyone in their life who supports them wholeheartedly. And in many cases, they are the one who supports everybody else.
Yeah.
So if we can insert ourselves as that pillar of stability and support through a system,
Mm.
right? It's one thing to record all those videos every single time or to type out those messages every single time, which is fine if you're doing it.
Mm.
But the problem is, and this is a rule that I have, if you can't do it with 50 people, don't do it with five.
Mhm, mhm,
So because we have a system in place that allows us to just copy paste this onboarding sequence to whoever signs up with us, I could potentially onboard 20, 30 people within a week. I never would, but I I could scale that infinitely and still provide the highest level of service.
mm.
The one resource that you can never get back is time.
Yeah.
And I think about time a lot because, in my opinion, it gets wasted.
Mhm.
So you can either spend time or you can invest time. Spending time is like buying shoes. It's cool. Cool, I have shoes. I look fly, as the kids say. Do kids still say fly? I don't know.
I look dope.
I look dope. Or you can invest time. Like my wife and I are investing 2 weeks in Europe to explore and create experiences that we're going to keep for the rest of our lives. To me, that's an investment. A couple weeks ago, I invested 5 days of my time to go to a conference and learn as much as I could and network. There's a big difference between spending time and investing time, and investing time in creating an onboarding sequence will allow you that return of better connections, better results, better buy-in, better retention, better referrals, and it sets the stage for that coaching relationship in a super positive way.
For sure. I feel as well in that, approach, you're individualizing, but also it's, setting a standard for the coaching space. We've spoken about this, Paul. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the coaching space, a lot of
Oh
stuff.
my God.
Yeah.
I just spoke to somebody today, someone very close to me today, who's working with a very notable coach. Coach is taking 4 or 5 days to get back to them on check-ins, and this was happening during prep. This guy's a 212 pro. He like very good pro. And yeah, 4 to 5 days to check in, only answering like half of his questions, forgetting to update the plan.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does this pass? And this is a notable, like, this is a very notable coach who's coaching Olympians this weekend.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, a lot of stories.
I give better service to my soccer moms than that.
Yeah. This again, you've actually just stumbled across something there as to, and this is what I would always say, whatever the client's goal is, whoever the client is, they get the same level of
100%.
service. Because
100%.
someone's going to stage, that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
doesn't take away. This is, and this is why I put so much relevance on it, Paul. It's we are, as coaches, we're instructing someone's day-to-day life. Now,
Mhm.
coaches listening to this and you guys on the call that are coaches or looking at coaching, remember that. That's someone's whole life. The steps, the nutrition, the training, all of these things. And as Paul said, you could be that one person as a coach that client relies on. You're the one that shows up for them,
Absolutely.
day in, day out, month in, month out. And this is, unfortunately, the stories that you just said there, Paul, whether people get a bit lost on the way, get a bit cocky, it becomes an income rather than a passion, as it were. But it just sticks in my mind so much that this is a person that the
Yeah.
whole life is invested in you. And that goes beyond what they're paying, right? As I said at the start, the leveling up and the education and what we're doing. This also brings me into, guys, please, you hear me say this on the pod all the time. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. We have specialist areas as coaches, and we can continue upskilling as we've spoken about. But don't sell people a dream. Don't try and, pretend that you're XYZ specialist, etc. And I've been on a bit of a rampage with this recently, Paul. My brain works in these ways. But again, you know, if you say to, I've got clients on this call, they come to me with something and I say, look, that's out of my realm, but
Hmm.
I can reach out to someone. I have a trusted network of people, as you do, Paul. I've
Yep.
got someone that I can speak to, or if you're happy for me to consult with them, etc., etc. Guess what? The client goes, that's great. They don't go, you don't know anything. I'm going to leave. Because I think we have this sort of perceived idea that it's like we have to know everything, but we absolutely do not.
No, I think it's a sign of utmost professionalism when you're able to reach out or to admit, hey, I don't know enough about that. Let me reach out and ask. I recently, like yesterday, had that same conversation with a client. He's going through some very serious gastrointestinal issues, trouble sleeping, brain fog, joint pain, changes to his stool consistency, color. And ultimately, I know quite a bit about functional health, but I don't know everything. And I said, hey, you have an appointment with your doctor on Wednesday. In the meantime, let's not change anything. Let me reach out to my mentor because I'm actively engaged in mentorship as well. I'm going to run your case by her and I'm going to get her insights into it. And let's reconvene on Thursday.
Yeah,
Boom, done. That's a very growth minded way of looking at things.
yeah,
The scarcity mindset way of looking at things is, oh my God, I can't admit that I don't know anything because they're just going to leave, which leads to really irresponsible decision making that could potentially negatively affect someone's health.
exactly.
I could have said, hey, I want you to purchase these 10 supplements and these six peptides. And I want you to just jam everything up your asshole, and we'll talk in a couple of days once you figure out what's going on.
D,
What the fuck? Was it the jamming up your asshole part?
yeah. Uh, it's but it,
Yeah,
it
so
is though, isn't it? It is this like it blows my mind because I'm like, the stuff again, being a human, the stuff that gets knocked out, yeah, the clickbait reels and all of these things, you're dealing with people's pain points. Yes, you want
Mhm.
to build your coaching program, whatever it is. But this is when someone's health, like this is what I don't understand with it, Paul, and I don't feel like I can ever understand it.
You won't.
It's if something happens to someone's health, that's on you as a coach.
100%.
Like,
I think people forget. So if someone's paying you for a service and you step outside your lane, even a lot of these functional health coaches, if you prescribe something and you're not a doctor and that person decides to be litigious against you and sue you, you're fucked.
yeah, exactly right.
And this is why liability waivers are important. This is why terms of service are important. This is why, even when I'm prescribing macros, I use quotation marks in the word prescribing. There's always a caveat there that it's these are my suggestions. You do not have to follow them
Yeah, you're outlining
because
what the service.
I'm not a dietitian,
Yeah,
right? So I can't prescribe meal plans technically. I am a licensed kinesiologist, so there's a lot of things that I can do there. I'm a clinical exercise physiologist, so there's things that I can do there. But there are certain elements of the coaching practice that remain licensed and protected services under specific accreditations. And the majority of us don't have those. So if you're not protected and say you write a meal plan for somebody, they don't realize that you're not licensed, they follow it and they get sick, they can sue you and your life is over.
yep, yep. The coaches listen as well. This is something I learned very early on from having a mentor in Austin.
Hmm.
It's he helped me create all of my systems and how I start the relationship, as it were, with the service agreement, etc. Like you've just outlined, and everything you're saying there, I'm like, that's pretty much the format of what my service agreement is because we do have to. Essentially, we're sort of caveating, aren't we? It's like we recommend anything we recommend is based on your goals. However, and it's ensuring that the client knows that. And
Hmm.
I just feel from my standpoint, when I'm delivering feedback, when I'm signing someone up, however we're looking at that, I just feel you just feel so fulfilled as a coach, basically, is what I'm trying to say. When you're just honest, you're
Mhm.
truthful, and your client's best interests are truly at your heart. Now, even if that's a difficult conversation in a exchange with a client or whatever that looks like, the highs, the lows, everything you go through, it's the pride, isn't it? It does get lost, and anyone that's listening that's maybe at a point where it's like maybe you've lost touch a little bit. Maybe you have chased the dragon a bit, and you got loads of client transformations, and you got all of this stuff, and you're going up in the world of coaching, as it were. Try and bring that back to remember what it was like to start your own journey, maybe. Like, how would you want to be treated as well? And I understand some people are going to go, I don't give a shit about that. However, maybe someone listening will.
Yeah, I think we speak to the highest level. I think we speak to the coaches that want to be the best coaches, and the ones that are happy collecting a paycheck and not doing right by people.
Hmm.
Ultimately, you can't change everybody's mind, and I've stopped trying to do that. Um, there's a reason why I don't hard sell my mentorship anymore, or I've never hard sold it. It's just something that people know that I do, and I sell it based on referrals and based on word of mouth and organic marketing. Um, because I believe that the solution to bad information is better information. It's not talking shit about the bad information. I try to keep the things that I do on a positive note, and showcase the great things that I am doing, that my clients are doing, that others are doing, and I just don't give the negativity a platform. And I think that's worked very well for me. It definitely doesn't get the clicks. Definitely doesn't get the attention. But at the end of the day, I don't even have 10,000 followers. And when I look at that, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm okay with it because I know a lot of people with a lot of followers who don't help as many people as I do, don't make as much money as I do, all these other things. And realistically speaking, you don't need 10,000 followers to make a lot of money in coaching.
Absolutely.
If you had 50 clients, depending on what you charge, 50 clients is a lot of clients, by the way, especially if you're coaching to a very high level.
For sure.
You're making bank.
Hmm.
You are making bank.
Especially if
And
they are happy clients.
yeah, because number one, if you have those 50 clients and anytime someone, like people will leave, like churn happens, it's natural. But if you're doing things right, anytime someone leaves, you've got someone waiting in the wings, right? And your coaching roster might fluctuate plus or minus 5 people. But even if you're averaging between 45 and 50 clients, say on the low end, you charge $300.
Mhm.
300 times 50 is a lot of money. That's a lot of money every month.
Mm, mm,
And then if you get into a situation where maybe, you get to that 50 clients, you've got enough evidence, you want to raise your prices. Well, now you don't have to work with 50 clients. You can work with 40 clients and make the same amount of money, or 30 clients and make the same amount of money.
mm.
Ultimately, you have to decide what kind of business you want to run. If you want to run a business that truly helps people, great. There will be a cap on how much time you have available.
Exactly that.
How do you maximize your time? You develop systems.
Mm,
How do you maximize your systems? You serve people and you do the research. What do people need to know? What's the unique aspects of my coaching practice? What does my ideal client need? And so you can get into the weeds here in terms of, and I suggest that you do, but there needs to be specific key performance indicators or measurables that you're keeping track of over time so that you know what's working and what's not. I routinely audit my time. I routinely get my mentees to audit their time. I have one of my mentees on the call right now. She's audited her time probably more in the last, month and a half than she has probably in her whole life because she's trying to get more efficient.
mm, mm.
And if you're more efficient, you can serve more people in less time.
Yeah.
So efficiency then becomes the key performance indicator,
Mm.
right? Like if you have a good system in place, and I'll just use my own metrics as an example. I have 45 clients. So 45, I spend less than 20 hours a week actually coaching. And all of my clients are well taken care of. All of my clients get my undivided attention. All of my clients feel like they're my only client. Why? Because of systems and processes. And when you think about it, 20 hours a week of coaching, 45 clients, I just mentioned how much I charge. You can do the math.
I feel like,
And that's not including mentorship.
and it gives you confidence, I feel,
Oh, of course.
yeah, if you have, because again, if people stumble across online coaching, and we know, it's tied in often to sort of the bodybuilding endeavor, as it were. It's like, oh, maybe I could be a coach, and hopefully, guys, if you're listening, you've gained enough expertise in the area to actually label yourself as a coach. Again, we need to be careful here. Just because you've done a prep, it doesn't necessarily mean you should, suddenly be a coach and whatever else. And I could go on several tangents there, Paul, but actually being able to get to a point where it's like the confidence of having systems in place, of being able to go, this is what I deliver, this is how I can do it. I'm confident in my ability. All of these things to empower yourself. You actually get quicker at delivery as well, and you get quicker at responses. Again, that ties into staying in your lane as well, because you're not like, when you first start coaching, you might get a problem, you think, I'm going to fix it, and you don't know. And you're really like, you could spend
Yep.
hours there with anxiety thinking, oh my God, I've got to solve this problem. All of these things come over time as a coach. And it's important to nurture that as you move through. And then you get to a point, as Paul's describing there, where it's like systems are in place, I'm time efficient, I know what I'm doing, I'm delivering a high level service, I'm earning a good amount of money, and I'm here. And that's where we can work towards. But it all starts with trying to be aware of what's required for these systems and putting them in place. And actually, as well, calling yourself out on if you are wasting time. I know we've spoken about this on a pod before, Paul, with doing the time audits. It's very, very useful because you can procrastinate, right? Like, easily, if you wanted to, you go, I'll do the check-in tomorrow, I'll do the feedback tomorrow, I want to do XYZ. Or it needs to be, I feel, accountable. As a coach, you need to be accountable to yourself if you're self-employed, right?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Ultimately, you set the trajectory for what you want your business to be. Um, Most people think about, I want to scale. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like to what level do you want to scale? I want to make 10,000 bucks a month, or I want to make 20,000 bucks a month. Cool. How are you going to do that? Like what numbers do you have to hit? What's your price point? How many people are you going to work with? How much time do you have available to you? What does your coaching practice look like now? One of the things that I help mentees with the most is shining light on blind spots they didn't know they had.
Mhm.
So I highlighted some of the things at the beginning of like, what do you want your clients to feel as soon as they click purchase? Well, I want them to feel X, Y, and Z. Cool. Well, what are you doing actively within the first 5 minutes they click purchase to do that?
Yeah.
Uh, okay, cool. Let's start there. Oh, I don't know what tools to use. I don't know, how to program this into what's a CRM? How do I use an automation? Where is the trigger? How do I do email funnels? All this sort of stuff. That's the difference between somebody who coaches people and someone who runs a coaching business. And if you want to truly scale, if you want to get to a point where you can make, like, we'll say, real money, you have to be a business.
Mhm. Mhm.
If your email is johnsmith@gmail.com, you don't own a business. You just coach people.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with just coaching people, but you will reach a glass ceiling in which you'll run out of time, you will not have enough systems, and things will break. And you won't be able to handle more people, and you won't be able to charge more money.
Mhm. Mhm. I feel it's important as well, like you're saying there, with what that could lead to as a coach. If you are, I guess, if there's not the systems in place, if it does become this sort of like, don't really know what you're doing and everything's all over the gaff, could that lead to, as a coach, experiencing burnout, not delivering what
Oh,
you need to
for
deliver,
sure.
all of these things. And this is why the systems are there to put in place. But it's back to that accountability to yourself as well, isn't it? And I feel like as well, and we could probably dig into this a little bit when client wise, what clients are looking for in a coach. Like you said, how did they get to, hello, can you coach me? How did people arrive at that point? And something
I
I
actually,
feel,
Sorry, go ahead. You finish. You finish, and I have something to add.
I feel like it's important to, if we're preaching things as coaches, as athletes, as, whatever hat we've got on, as it were, to actually stick to that, to, actually put the words and actions together because people remember things, guys, like they absolutely do. And that's important as well.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that the relationship that you build with with a client starts the moment that they're exposed to you.
Yeah.
So the moment someone becomes aware of you in some capacity, whether they're scrolling their Explore page and they come across one of your posts, or they hear your name from somebody, that first exposure to that individual is the first time they form an opinion about you.
Yeah.
And what you do from that moment in terms of the content that you post, the YouTube, the Instagram, the free videos, the webinars like this one, the podcast, what free resources you have available on your website, how you conduct yourself in a sales call, how you communicate with them via email or via social media to get them onto that sales call. The way that you do that, it's called a nurture process. So the way that you nurture someone from being a prospect, so someone who's aware of you is considered to be a prospect.
Mm,
Someone who's given you permission to speak to them, either by following you or giving you their email or downloading one of your resources, that would be considered a lead. Nurturing somebody from prospect to lead to customer sets the stage for the post-purchase period. Because if they already know what you stand for, they know you, like you, and trust you. They've already invested time into reading some of the resources that you have available and consuming your content. And then they already met you on a sales call and think it's a good idea to work with you. You already have a massive spark, and it's your job to pour gasoline on that spark with your onboarding. And so paying attention, a lot of mentorships will focus on the customer acquisition. How do we get more clients?
yeah.
That's cool. I'm more interested in how do I charge more? How do I provide a better service? How do I do it in less time? How do I get better results? How do I get more referrals? And how do I get my clients to stick with me longer?
Mm,
Because if you're doing all of those things, acquisition is less important because you don't lose clients. You're being referred clients by people that already work with you.
mm,
The clients that do leave come back to work with you. And so you don't really have to spend as much time
mm.
in acquisition because all those other things are acquiring you clients by virtue of just being a great coach.
For sure, for sure. It's stepping as well into, like you've explained, like if you are offering a higher level service, it's and this is the thing, we can all do, we can do offers or whatever. I do photo shoot preps and things like that to sort of bring community together and what have you, but I'm a bit icky with being the hard sale person, as you know, Paul, as you said, and I don't feel I ever want to or need to do that. We can get sort of entrapped in these things where we see other people doing stuff and it's like, oh, should I be doing that as a coach? Should I be doing X, Y, Z? Da, 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 da. Again, this falls back to you having an outline of what's your business model, who are you,
Mhm.
what are you putting into the space and sticking to that, because for sure there's been times when I started out where I was like, should I be doing a 12-week shred with 5 spaces left, and should I be doing
Mm,
X, Y, should I be putting transformations every day? I have clients that don't want to be on my social media,
yeah, for
as
sure.
as an example, that's not,
Well,
you know
ask yourself this, if you're a coach listening or you're on the call right now, what is the mission of your business? So, who do you serve?
yeah,
The clients that work with us are people that view training and nutrition as a vehicle for personal development. That's it. So if you're not somebody who's interested in personal development and you're not someone who's interested in fitness, I'm probably not talking to you.
yeah,
Cool. So then all of the things along that path from exposure to my content to purchase to onboarding, all the things in there, it has to have the common thread of personal development. That's called alignment.
Mm,
I think for most coaches, they don't know who their ideal client is. So that's number one. And they also don't know the mission of their business.
mhm.
Like the mission of our business is to raise the bar for coaching.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to raise the bar for coaching, that means our systems and processes have to be the best in the business. That means that our coaches need to be as educated as they can possibly be. That means that our service delivery quality has to be the highest it can possibly be. Because if we are raising the bar for coaching, we need to be constantly raising the bar for ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like alignment and a common theme amongst all of our the things that we do, it's are we raising the bar and are we focused on the personal development of our clients? Well, that second piece can't be possible without our own personal development, and it can't be possible without creating relationships. So you see how these high level ideas feed into the nuances, which will feed into the systems that you use, which will feed into the service model that you choose. But people don't know what they stand for or who they serve. So then they can't get to those higher levels.
Mm, mm. It, as well, that makes me think about, and something I see in the space is that, you know, people come to you for enhancing their life, right? So the nutrition, the training, the education. Remember, guys, as well, sometimes clients will come to you and perhaps they're not wanting as much education as you'd like to give. It's more of a, maybe they're a busy professional and they just want you to go, this is what I need you to do. This is why we're doing it, X, Y, Z. So there's going to be different clients. Now,
Mhm.
when we think about that, and I've seen this a lot, and it's something I think about, not everyone, well, if you're a bodybuilding coach, as the example, not everyone's coming to you to be a mini bodybuilder. Perhaps they just want some low level tuition initially to enhance their lifestyle. So again, it's being able to treat everyone as that individual. I see it where it's like suddenly you've got someone just eating chicken and rice 5 times a day, and they've just come to you to sort of learn a little bit about the gym, etc. And it's like, let's just draw it back here. Just because you're a bodybuilder as a coach or whatever, powerlifting or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that that has to be put onto a client. So maybe the sort of belief system as well ties into what you're saying there. Who are you serving and what are you doing it for? Because we have to be mindful of that, actually dealing with an individual rather than me going, well, I'm a competitive bodybuilder. That means you've got to be. You've got to do what I do because it's not the case, is it, Paul? People are inspired by it, but again, that's an individual human that's on a different journey to you. If they want to be a competitive bodybuilder, if they already are, for sure we lead that way. But again, it's the copy and paste route. It does.
Well, it starts with how you attracted that person in the first place.
Yeah.
If what brought them in was the fact that you're posting about bodybuilding,
Hmm.
then you kind of set yourself up for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I will very rarely post about X's and O's because the X's and O's to me are secondary to the personal development. So when I'm putting together a plan for somebody based on their goals, they don't have this preconceived notion of what they're going to get.
For sure.
Um, Whereas if all you post is like, hey, I ate cream of rice and whey, and then I ate chicken and rice, and then I ate beef and potatoes, and then I ate more chicken and rice, and then I did this, and this is my full day of eating. I ate six grams of fat and 5,000 carbohydrates. I'm like, no one's gonna do that, bro.
Is there
And
anything
then,
under the hood?
well, I, uh, and that's why I said like your ability to attract the ideal client comes from how you present yourself,
Yeah,
right? And so one of the things, and I've shared this story before, but like in a past life, when I left college, like I was a college strength coach, and then I went to work in the private sector for an insurance company. So at the time, I was like, I wasn't as tattooed as I am now, but I'm very conscious of how I look, right? So if you see me in the gym, like I just came from the gym wearing a cutoff shirt, tattoos, 230 pounds, lean. I'm training hard, so I probably look angry or tired or, harsh. But if you ask me a question or you say something to me, very polite, very jovial, very welcoming, because I know that that first impression that I make on somebody, whether it's just somebody like I was doing some abs in an area in the gym, and somebody came over and wanted to use that area for something else. I grabbed my stuff and I moved it 6 feet over. And the person's like, "Oh man, I had no idea you were working out there." I was like, "Oh, dude, it's all good. I'm gonna go over here. You do your thing. I don't give a shit where I do abs."
Yeah, yeah,
But I just made a positive impression on that person. And maybe that person wants to be my client later. Or maybe it's just someone I say hello to at the gym now.
yeah. It's important.
Or if they find out that I'm a coach, well, now they're going to tell their friends, "Hey, this really nice guy at the gym is a coach, seems pretty smart, trains really hard. You should talk to him."
Yeah.
Right? People don't realize that like, every single thing that you do is a pebble in a pond.
Mhm.
And every pebble that you drop in a pond, yes, the pebble goes in the pond, but it also creates ripples. And those ripples are what will build your business.
Yeah. And what you
Something,
stand for.
yeah, like that engagement with that person, that might have been a little pebble. If I get a post on Instagram that does really well and trends really well and creates a lot of conversations, maybe that's a giant boulder that I dropped in the puddle, creates waves.
Yeah.
But ultimately, everything creates ripples, and those ripples are what we need to maximize. We always need to have in the back of our head. It's not about this one encounter. It's about what someone be. Your personal brand is not what you say about yourself. It's what people say about you.
Behind closed doors.
And that's what people forget. It's like, "Oh, my personal brand is about, being jacked and being tan." No, your personal brand is about creating stock programs that you copy and paste for everybody and that you churn over clients, month over month. That's your personal brand because that's what people are saying about you.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll never have people say that shit about me.
No, same. Ever. No
Yeah.
one has like there's obviously commonalities across the board with certain things that we do, but none of my clients have the same like hands down, and they never will because it's
Yeah.
just and the thing is as well, I feel like I mentioned earlier about when clients come to you from previous coaches or a coach, that lasting impression as well. I feel like it's an instant buy-in from a client because they're like, fucking hell, as I described it, this is coaching. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's a flex, right, Paul? Like, if you're meant to, you
Absolutely.
get clients come on board and they go, this is coaching. I can't believe this is even a thing. That I believe as a coach should ideally be something that fuels you up and fires you up. But we must remember, like you said, don't do that for just the first month. This,
Yeah.
my clients. There's a couple of my clients on the call now that have been with me for multiple years. I'm the same at the start and 3, 4, 5 years in, right? Because that's important. It's the consistency of what you offer. Now, also, this makes me stumble across if you are a competitive bodybuilder or if you're chasing a discipline, as it were, as a coach. Of course, we hear the things in the space of, I'm a coach, I'm in prep, your service is going to downgrade because I'm in a prep and I'm more important. I personally feel that we need to be aware that people are still paying for the service. They're paying for the service that you offered from the start. If you are in a prep, that's your decision as a coach. We need to be mindful. I believe, personally, anyone listening that changes their program in a prep, that's on you. However, I don't feel it's good enough for someone paying for a service, personally.
I think the only caveat there is if you have it in a contract.
Yeah, so if you say next, if someone signs up next year, I'm going to be in a prep, and for this portion of time, maybe I'm competing internationally or whatever it is, there's a portion of time where I'm going to be committing to this. That's like holidays, right? Like if you're going to go away or whatever.
But those should be in your
But
contract regardless. Like
that needs
we
to
have
be.
it in our contract that we're going to take vacation a couple times a year. We have it in our contract that we have a few weeks. We call them abbreviated check-in weeks where we don't do Loom videos and we just reply to check-ins, or we may not do video reviews for a week at a time. And we just use that when we're in prep. But like, let's be honest. You're eating food, you're doing cardio, and you're training. Like,
Exactly.
how fucking hard is that? And listen, I've competed in bodybuilding and I've gotten very, very lean. The only thing that I changed about my coaching practice is the last 2 weeks, I just didn't do Loom videos and I replied to people by typing.
But
That's
that's
it.
already been told,
And
hasn't
that's already been communicated ahead of time that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly that. Because I don't feel it's fair. My first coach that I mentioned before, he did multiple preps while he was coaching me. And actually, we'd have an open conversation. He'd be like, "Look, Sarah, I'm a week out. Can I do a writ?" He did the same as you, Paul. Can I do your written feedback? And we get back on track to our calls, etc. after the show. But again, this is, taking ownership for your choice as a coach. If you are doing certain things, whether it's the holiday, whether it's a prep, whether it's a powerlifting meet, whatever your life involves, just be transparent with that from the start. Actually bring your clients on board because then you're offering a service and it's clear. Don't try and I just don't feel like you should be on a pedestal because you're doing a prep if you're a coach. There should be, the respect to your clients as well because they are paying for the service.
I also think there's a tremendous amount of pride and a tremendous amount of buy-in that you can get by actually just stepping up and doing the thing,
For
right?
sure.
So, while I was going through my prep, I was sharing my prep with my clients. I was talking about the things that I was going through, and even in that final week, or sorry, or 2 weeks where I did written check-ins instead of video check-ins, I told them why I was doing it. I let them know, hey, I'm setting a boundary here. It is in our contract, but this is why I'm doing it. This is, I'm prioritizing myself the same way I expect you to prioritize yourself. And so you showcase these things in a way in which it is highlighting you walking the walk
Yeah,
and expecting the same things of yourself as you do from your clients. And that in and of itself increases engagement, increases connection.
yeah, yeah,
Not only that, like some of my clients don't have Instagram, so they don't even know.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So like one of my clients was like, "Hey, like I know you're in prep. Like, can you send me a progress picture? I'd love to see like what you look like."
No, it's really cool, isn't
Eh,
it?
Yeah, I sent him a picture and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Where's where's your body fat gone? You're
I'm
shredded.
like, he's like, "Dude, that's crazy that you got that lean." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm still showing up. I'm still doing my job the same way that, like you're not waiting more than 24 hours for a reply from me and all this sort of stuff." And he was just like, man, like, thank you so much. And he valued the exchange way more at that point, just because I brought him along for the journey with me.
Yeah, and it's a very nice thing to share because I would say, there are plenty of my clients that do come to me because I've got the 13 years of competitive bodybuilding as the personal anecdote, the experience and what I've done in the space. And it builds the relationship because you support one another and it's really special because when you do get that acknowledgement from your clients, but also you're the same as me, Paul. I'm not on the stories moaning what I've got to do in a prep. I'm not going, oh, I don't want to do this. I have to do this. Da, da, da. Because again, remember, guys, the lasting impressions of you should be showing up. If you're putting someone through a prep and you're in a prep moaning, doesn't quite align. It's trying to have a positive impact on the choice to do something like a preparation. It's ideally, again, like we said earlier, you're enhancing your life from what you can gain from a prep. Yes, it gets tough. It definitely gets tough. However, if you're showing up as a coach going, I'm fucking peeled, but we're here, we're doing the thing, that gains respect as well, right? Like it's a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I see someone doing that, all I think about is like, man, you sound like a little fucking bitch right now.
I know I'm like, what is going on?
Like you chose this. Be an adult. Like you knew that it was gonna hurt. You knew it was gonna suck. Like, yeah, you're really lean. I'm sure your joints feel like shattered glass, but you chose to do that. Embrace your choice, live your life, and stop being a little bitch. Hell, we're on a call. You're in the UK. Stop being a little cunt.
Yeah, it's my favorite word. D will be laughing at that, and so will Victoria, my clients on the call, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, gone. It is though. It's like, and without going into one of my rambles, Paul. Of course, we're gonna be wrapping up in a minute, but it's like, you know, if you're not finding a level of cathartism in this fucked up pursuit, shall we say, of bodybuilding, it's like
Hmm.
when your D's back, she heard me say cunt. It's like you're. it's bloody hard. It's really hard. But again, it's the choice, and it's like I'm getting off on this, right? Like I'm getting
It's supposed to be hard.
yeah, the striations are coming, I'm getting peeled. Let's fucking do this, and that's the endeavor of it, and showing that, respecting the influence you have in the space. Like whether I'm at the tail end of a prep or height of off season, I'm Sarah, right? Like,
I'm
yeah,
still me.
yeah, it's like yes, there are some adaptations that occur, and you can go, look, today's been bloody rough, but again, it's respecting what we put out in the space as people in influence. And remember, guys, a bit like the following you mentioned, Paul. Even if one person is following you, if one person is watching your stories and absorbing the shit out of everything you put, that's still an impression on that one person. And as you mentioned, the ripple effect of what that one person could tell 10 people about you, those 10 people could tell 10. And it's this, it's pride in who you are. And
Yep.
ensuring that we're always going back to that, who are you and what are your ethics, and putting that across. And what I'll say is, if you make a mistake, own it.
Own it.
That is okay. Back to what I said earlier, I want my clients to know I'm a human. We all make mistakes. And actually, Paul, I'm sure you'll agree, sometimes if we own a mistake and we actually, do a bit of a spin on it on a reel or a story or whatever, some people might go, they're actually a human. I'm going to get them as a coach.
Yeah. That's some feedback that I got actually. It's like from a client. I see you doing all these things and I feel like, you're so great and you're such a robot. And I was like, I just ate my body weight in sushi the other day because I couldn't stop eating. Like, Naomi's laughing because I had that conversation with her, but these are the opportunities that you have to make a connection with clients, right? Like sharing your own struggles as well as the successes. Like, yeah, we're not perfect. We all have challenges. And when you own them and then you show the clients that you're using the same strategies that you're espousing to them to help yourself, again, it enhances that connection.
Think of the solution, right? So if I'll end it on this. If you do make a mistake, if you do face a problem, try and think about this when you're providing content to potential clients, is what happened, what you did about it. And that,
Mhm.
again, it's a buy-in to go, rather than just, this has happened to me. That's it. It's this has happened to me. I'm now ready to say, this is what I did about it. This is what I learned. This is the solution. So then someone sees your content and they go, right, okay, I faced that problem. Oh, right, that's what Sarah did about it. Okay, I'll try. Oh, that worked. Maybe she could be the coach for me. It's all of these things, guys, and it's thinking about, I mean, content could be a completely different podcast, as you'll agree, Paul, but you know,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that type of stuff is super important as well, because you are almost a fact finder and a solution provider as a coach, and that's important. But I hope
I like to call like coaches are not problem solvers, they're solution finders. You are the problem solver.
I love that when you do get that as well, when you do come together and you provide the solutions and things work. Again, it's a buy-in, of course, to being that person for that person, and it's important.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Paul. I was going to say as well, I was going to say that I thought about this before we even started, that this could potentially be something we could look at doing again, at some point if you wanted to in the future.
Absolutely.
Because it's, there's so much we could deep dive on. Obviously, Paul and I have done podcasts together as well. So I will list them in the description of this podcast. And we've dug into you being 5 weeks out. We've spoken about coaching,
Oh
mindset.
yeah.
So if anyone has any sort of suggestions as to things that, if you've caught our vibe on podcasts we've done together or on this call, if you think, oh, it'd be good if Sarah and Paul could cover this on a webinar, absolutely send that over to me or Paul, and we will absolutely, look at that as an option as well.
100%. 100%, whatever you guys need.
We're here to serve.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, my people. Well, I'm also going to put together a bit of a PowerPoint as to what we've discussed today. Obviously, Paul, you've got your note taker as well, so you might put some stuff together, and then I will send it out to you guys that haven't got email addresses for. I'll grab them from you as well. I'll send you a message, and I will release this as a podcast as well. So thank you for all.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Enjoy your food, Vicky. Bye, Dee. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.